But Overhead Door, great company. Used to be with the Current all the time, and hopefully they'll be with us more often again.
And folks, if you do facility management, I've used them for bay door.
Yeah,
truck
big
bay
doors.
door repair, and they were less expensive than the competitors. We were really happy with their service.
They used to do the big warehouse that I used to run, too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Overhead Door, 800-736-7686. Give them a call and get some deals on your garage door. All right, let's take a quick call from Elaine in Ypsilanti. Elaine, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I like your idea of a live program, no repeats. I like that idea. I also heard that Bush was supposed to be campaigning in Indiana, and Pence has been there a number of times. As far as voting is concerned, I never thought it was real important, but at work we were voting on a union. And I thought, well, I don't know if I'll vote or not. I'm going to vote against it. Guess what the results were?
What was it?
They lost by one vote.
Yeah, I was thinking. Yep, good girl.
Yeah, well, your vote does count.
And so, therefore, I thought, one vote does count.
Great story.
Yeah, and even if it's a dozen votes or 24 votes, in a recount, sometimes ballots are disqualified or new ballots are qualified.
Look how few votes in Florida in 2000.
Yeah, so voting does count, folks. It really does. And it may not necessarily be the national race. It might be your local race or your school board, which is vitally important. Mm-hmm. So make sure you vote and drag those conservative people out to the polls with you. If you got independents, make sure you're helping them understand the facts and the reasoning behind why they should be voting conservative, and in this election, Republican, folks.
And if you have elderly relatives, volunteer to help them vote.
Yep. Yeah. Do their absentee ballots.
I turned in my ballot, absentee ballot, and he said, well, the response is quite big so far, and that was just Wednesday.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. I'm hoping that it's a good sign for Republicans. I guess we won't know until the time, right? It's coming up quick.
That's true.
We need a crimson tide.
Thank you very much.
All right. Take care, Elaine. Thank you for the call. Let's take a call from Jasmine in Chicago. Jasmine, welcome to the show.
Hey, guys.
Hey, Jasmine.
How are you?
We're doing good. What do you got for us?
Well, a couple of things here. Number one, I just wanted everyone to know, anyone who's thinking about voting anything but Republican, I just got my third bonus, thanks to Trump. And
wow.
I understand we're heading into November, but when was the last time I got a bonus under the Obama era? Zippo, zilcho, nada.
Yeah, 8 years of no bonuses, and so far this year you've had 3.
Wow! So finally, all those Obama policies have kicked in, right? And
yes.
You're finally benefiting from everything that Obama set up for Trump, right? Yeah.
Yes, I for one am so glad for Obama and for that wonderful Harry Reid. I mean, come on,
Exactly. That's the way the Democrats would have you believe.
The sarcasm is strong in this one.
Also, I wanted to get people not only to vote, but there are great groups out there. Monday night, I went to my first Turning Point USA meeting and met Charlie Kirk. And I have to tell you, it was so life-affirming because everyone there, was wearing a MAGA hat. I, of course, don't have one, so I was wearing my White Sox hat. But everybody there was so positive and was talking about how great it is that people like Charlie Kirk, people like Candace Owens, people like Will Witt, people who aren't even 30 yet, and they're really, really, really leading the charge to get Trump reelected and to just keep that red wave going. And let me catch my breath and I'll say, the real reason I called, what is the deal with that caravan?
Hey. The good news is Trump told Mexico what to do, and they did it, right?
Right. Well, they made the attempt, anyways, which is more than we've ever seen before from
some
Mexico.
Got through, but the rest are standing on that bridge wondering, what?
Yeah. Well, and for those people who don't know, I don't know how you can not know, there is a caravan of 3,000 to 5,000 people, and they're not number one, they don't look underfed. They look
Right.
well fed. There is video out there of people paying them to march north. So you can guess where that money from. I'm going to say Soros, the devil himself.
Steyer, Soros, yeah.
Those people are paying them to assault our border. And what drives me crazy is, and Gruber says this all the time as well, this is planned. This was no accident that at this time, the Democrats and the people that support the Democrats, the global elitists, are pushing this. What? They think we're going to try and make Republicans look like bad guys because we're trying to secure the border and not let 5,000 people rush our border?
Well, if they'd have stopped at our border, it would have looked bad. By the time they would have hit just around that time, right? But no, Trump played a really good card here, and he got the Mexicans to stop them at their border.
Which they should be doing.
Yeah, exactly. But that just says so much about Trump right there.
Yeah.
Obama wouldn't have done this. Bush wouldn't have done this.
Yeah, what else you got there, Jasmine?
Well, I just wanted to say that if anyone has ever watched, if you haven't, please rent or buy Escape from New York. Just the first 5 minutes of that movie will tell you how they should deal with the caravan.
What was the movie? Oh,
Escape from New York.
Oh, wow, yeah, yeah.
Kurt Russell.
Yeah,
Snake
Plissken.
Thought you were dead.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And I don't know about you, but every time I look at Donald Trump, I think, Plissken, I heard you were dead.
That's right.
You know?
That's great. That's a blog
awesome.
post. I'm doing that.
All right. Well, great call, Jasmine. Anything else?
No, just, what you guys have been saying, please, please, please get out there, vote red, just keep it going.
All right, so
Don't let the crazy mob, intimidate you. Get out there and vote.
Yeah. Well, before you go, Illinois, Senate and governor race. What's your thoughts?
Yeah.
Let's keep it upbeat.
Well, you know what? Without getting into a lot of that stuff, I will say I didn't want to vote for Rauner because he's as conservative as they come, and he's a Republican, supposedly. That's the one thing I kind of went away from the red wave list. I actually voted for Cass Jackson.
Who is?
Cass Jackson is a libertarian.
Oh, okay. So you went
But
libertarian.
I've heard
Throwaway
I've heard
vote.
him
Okay.
speak.
Well, we forgive you.
Yeah, and I've heard him speak, and he leans more conservative than Rauner or Pritzker. And so I went and I voted earlier in the week, and I voted for Cass Jackson. But other than that, it was red down the line.
Okay, good. Well, that's excellent. Well, let's cross our fingers and hope we get Republican Senate anyways out there, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks for the call, Jasmine. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. Have
All
a
right.
great weekend.
You too. Thanks. Bye. Let's take a call from Gary in Hazel Park. Gary, welcome to the show.
Hey, gentlemen. Hey, one of the reasons President Donald Trump calls the press the enemy of the people is because they distort and lie about what's really to be reported. Apparently, this guy that was killed in the consulate in Turkey was part of the Muslim Brotherhood and a traitor to his own people and to the world. He was a personal friend of Osama bin Laden. This guy was no Boy Scout. And just because he was hiding behind the curtain of being a journalist, these journalists, so-called journalists in America, think he's the poster boy for sympathy. And let's get it real. I mean, if this guy's who they say he was, who cares?
Yeah, he's not really a journalist. He's a propagandist for the Muslim Brotherhood. And it's a good segue, Gary, because you must have been reading our minds.
But I want to clarify something here. President Trump, peace be upon him, President Trump did not say that the press was the enemy of the people. He said fake news is the enemy of the people. I know
That's 95% of the press.
I realize that, but we have to be very careful about these things because that's a Dem talking point that he said that, and that's not what he said.
Right.
I'm not accusing you of repeating a Dem talking point. Go ahead, Gary.
I can take it. I can take it. No problem.
So I want you to listen to this track, Gary, because we were trying to get to this last week and we just couldn't get to it. So the media's main source for the story, and now he is dead, right? They've admitted that he died. Again, questionable circumstances.
He's still
blah,
dead.
blah, blah. And frankly, I'm thinking,
So?
why would anyone in your own consulate, for crying out loud. There's a million ways to take care of somebody if that's what you're really trying to do. Why did you do it in your own consulate in Turkey? Your enemy, your main adversary, right, for Saudi Arabia right now. But anyways, that aside, the media's main source for this whole story started with a guy by the name of Khaled Safuri, who is an aide to Abdurrahman al-Amoudi. Does that name ring a bell to you?
No.
No.
Okay, so I'm going to remind you who Abdurrahman al-Amoudi is. Derek, do you have track 1 ready? Okay, listen very carefully to the description of who this man, Abdurrahman al-Amoudi, is. Go ahead and play it.
Here's a guy you may not know, Abdurrahman al-Amoudi. Next. Here's a fun shot. Next. This guy, he was, for over a decade, was one of the most prominent Muslims in America. Here he is with President Clinton and Vice President Al Gore. Next. Next. Here's a couple more shots with Clinton. And this is not partisan. This is not a partisan thing, because next, Karl Rove brought him into the Bush White House as well. This guy headed significant Islamic groups in America. He in 1996, he got Bill Clinton to establish the Muslim chaplaincy program in the United States military, and he formed the body that certified who did or didn't get to be a chaplain. He held ambassadorial status on official State Department trips to the Middle East and the Middle East peace process for President Clinton. You know where this guy resides right now? He's a guest of the United States federal penitentiary system. He's doing 23 years in prison because he's a senior Al-Qaeda financier and a senior member of the Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas. And you might ask, how does that guy get into the Oval Office of two consecutive administrations, even post 9/11? And the answer is because the enemy's stated focus of main effort is a pre-violent, not non-violent, pre-violent penetration, leveraging our freedoms of all avenues of government and society to establish a secret shadow government, their words, not mine, and I'll get into where these words are coming from, and to penetrate and subvert and control the information process in the United States government so that we are not able to even identify them. And I'll get into this.
Okay. This is how deep this. If you don't think the Islamic jihadists, the Muslim Brotherhood, is trying to get in and control and change our country, you're an idiot with your head in the sand. These people, they're smart. They take a long, long time to look at it. They're not afraid to go in slowly but surely and start milking the system, which is what they're doing and which Obama allowed with all those Muslims coming into the country during his 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
He encouraged it.
Absolutely, he did. And
that was the whole focus of NASA. It was no longer getting a man to Mars. It was like, extolling Muslim virtues in mathematics in the 18...
Tell them how much we appreciate them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it should tell you that, and there's a bigger picture here, and Gary's putting his tinfoil hat on, right? Pastor released, right? Mm-hmm. Last week as well. And part of that was Trump putting the pressure on Turkey with sanctions, and that was part of it. Mm-hmm. But he was also released because Turkey can't complain about Saudi Arabia killing one of the journalists while you're, in the meantime, have a pastor in prison unlawfully, right? So that was all part of this big scheme here. And Turkey's looking for an advantage, and Saudi Arabia is looking for an advantage. And did MBS actually order the hit on this guy? Maybe. Or maybe the king of Saudi Arabia himself.
Salman, the prince.
Yep.
Crown prince.
So I don't like the way American media is touting this Khashoggi guy as some huge journalist, and he was killed as a journalist. And let's blame it on Trump, by the way.
Call me. Go. Okay, so, you do have the media. They're complaining about Trump, they're actually trying to make Trump complicit in the murder of Khashoggi because he's not, really standing up to the Saudis for the murder of this guy. So they're trying to put it like it's on his doorstep, right?
Yeah.
Except they had nothing to say about Obama and Clinton when Ambassador Stevens was murdered in our consulate in Benghazi.
Yeah.
After he asked for over 600 times.
Yeah. And the American media, the Soviet-style media, just let that slide. Yeah. But they're not letting Trump slide while he's just trying to figure out the best way to handle this right now.
Yeah. This is as complicit as the media is. It just gets worse and worse the more you watch it. And I got to believe America is finally seeing through this, don't you?
I think so. half of us are. The other half are voting Democrat.
From your calls, they're telling everybody the correct thing to do is vote red, vote straight Republican on the ticket.